We were.
Stop wasting your life now. Yes, I'm talking to you. How many times have you said, "I'll start learning English tomorrow"? And how many tomorrows have already passed? As an English teacher, I've seen this again and again. Talented, intelligent people holding themselves back just because they are afraid to speak. But here's the truth. Your life will not change until your habits change. And today, we change one habit. We start speaking English, not perfectly, but confidently. Let me ask you something powerful. What if just 10 minutes of daily English conversation could change your future? Imagine speaking confidently in interviews, traveling without fear, or expressing your ideas clearly to the world. English is not just a language. It's a tool that opens doors. But most learners make one big mistake. They focus only on grammar rules and forget real-life conversation. That's why they understand English, but cannot speak it. Today, we fix that. Speak daily, even if it feels uncomfortable, even if your sentences are simple, and even if you think you are not ready yet. Because the truth is, you will never feel ready until you start. Let me ask you something honestly. How many English words do you already know? Hundreds, maybe thousands. Then why is speaking still difficult? The answer is simple. You've trained your brain to understand English, but not to use it. And the only way to fix that is by speaking every single day. Not someday, not when you feel confident, today. Think about how children learn a language. They don't wait to become perfect. They don't memorize complex grammar rules before speaking. They try. They make mistakes. They repeat. And slowly, they improve. Now here's the powerful question. If a child can do it without fear, what's stopping you? Most learners are trapped in a cycle of overthinking. You build sentences in your mind, correct them again and again, and by the time you're ready to speak, the moment is gone. This hesitation is your biggest enemy. Speaking daily breaks that barrier. It trains your mind to respond quickly, naturally, and confidently. Here's a strong truth you need to hear. Fluency is not built in silence. You cannot become a confident speaker just by listening, reading, or watching videos. Those things help, but they are not enough. Speaking is a skill, and like any skill, it improves only with action. Imagine trying to learn swimming by reading a book. No matter how much theory you understand, you will never swim until you enter the water. English is exactly the same. The moment you start speaking, even with broken sentences, you step into real learning. Start small, because small steps create big transformation. You don't need long speeches or perfect grammar. Begin with simple sentences about your daily life. Say, "I am waking up. I am brushing my teeth. I am going to work. I feel tired today." These may sound basic, but they are powerful. Why? Because you are training your brain to think in English. And once your thinking changes, your speaking automatically improves. This is how fluency is built, from the inside out. Now here's something that might surprise you. Talking to yourself in English is one of the most effective techniques in the world. Yes, it may feel strange at first, but it works. When you speak to yourself, there is no fear, no judgment, no pressure. You are free to make mistakes and correct them instantly. This creates a safe environment where your confidence grows naturally. Over time, you will notice that words come to you faster, sentences form more easily, and your hesitation starts to disappear. Let's break another myth. Many learners believe they need a speaking partner to improve. While having a partner is helpful, it is not necessary. If you keep waiting for the right person or the perfect opportunity, you will keep delaying your progress. The most important conversation you can have is with yourself, your voice, your thoughts, your daily experiences. These are enough to practice. Once you build confidence alone, speaking with others becomes much easier. Here's a hook you should never forget. Confidence does not come before speaking. It comes because of speaking. Many people say, "I will speak when I feel confident," but that day never comes. Confidence is the result of action, not the requirement for it. Every time you speak, you become a little stronger, a little faster, and a little better. And one day, without even realizing it, you will start speaking naturally. Another powerful strategy is repetition. Don't be afraid to repeat the same sentences again and again. Repetition is not boring. It is training. When you repeat, your brain creates stronger connections. Words become familiar, pronunciation improves, and your speed increases. This is how simple sentences turn into fluent conversations. So instead of constantly searching for new words, focus on using the words you already know. Now imagine this, just 10 to 15 minutes of speaking every day. That's it. Not hours of study, not complicated lessons, just daily speaking. In 1 week, you will feel a difference. In 1 month, you will see improvement. And in a few months, people will notice your confidence. This is the power of consistency. Small daily effort creates massive long-term results. There will be days when you feel lazy, when you feel stuck, when you feel like you are not improving. That's normal, but those are the most important days to continue. Because discipline, not motivation, creates success. Even on your worst day, speak a few sentences. Keep the chain alive, because once you stop, it becomes harder to start again. Remember this powerful line, your voice is your power. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. English is not just about words. It is about expression, confidence, and connection. And every time you speak, you are building all three. Practice real-life conversations, because this is where true language learning begins. Let me ask you something that might change the way you think. What is the real purpose of learning English? Is it to pass exams, memorize grammar rules, or collect difficult vocabulary? Or is it to communicate clearly and confidently in everyday situations? The reality is simple. If you cannot use English in your daily life, you don't truly know it yet. And this is exactly where most learners struggle. They study English, but they don't live it. Now imagine this scenario. You walk into a shop, travel to a new place, attend an interview, or meet someone new, and you can express your thoughts easily, without fear or hesitation. That is the power of practicing real-life conversations. It prepares you for the situations that actually matter, because language is not meant to stay in books. It is meant to be used in real moments, with real people, in real situations. Here's a strong hook you need to remember. If you don't practice real-life English, your learning will always feel incomplete. You may understand sentences when you hear them, but when it's your turn to speak, your mind goes blank. Why does this happen? Because your brain is not trained to respond in real situations. It has only been trained to recognize, not to produce. Real-life conversation practice changes that completely. It forces your brain to think, respond, and express, just like it would in an actual interaction. Start by turning your daily routine into a learning opportunity. Everything you do can become a conversation. When you wake up, talk about your plans for the day. When you eat, describe the food. When you travel, talk about what you see around you. For example, say, "The weather is very hot today," or "I am going to the market," or "This place looks crowded." These simple sentences may seem small, but they are powerful because they are real. And real language is always easier to remember and use. Now let's take it a step further. Don't just describe, create situations. Ask yourself questions and answer them in English. For example, what will I do today? How was my day? What did I learn? This technique trains your mind to think and respond naturally. It also prepares you for real conversations with others, because you are already practicing both sides of the interaction. This is one of the fastest ways to build confidence without needing anyone else. Here's another powerful hook. Your environment is your best teacher if you know how to use it. Look around you right now. Everything you see can become part of your English practice. Your room, your phone, your workplace, your surroundings. These are all tools. Describe objects, actions, and situations in English. The more you connect English with your real environment, the stronger your learning becomes. This is because your brain links language with experience, not just memory. Many learners make the mistake of practicing unnatural or outdated sentences that they never use in real life. For example, memorizing long, complex sentences that sound impressive but are rarely spoken. Instead, focus on practical communication. Learn how to greet people, ask for help, give opinions, and share your thoughts. These are the skills that make you a confident speaker. Because at the end of the day, people don't care how complex your English is. They care how clearly you can communicate. Let's break another important barrier: fear of real interaction. Many learners feel nervous speaking English with others because they are afraid of making mistakes or being judged. But here's the truth. Real growth happens outside your comfort zone. Every time you step into a real conversation, you are challenging yourself. And every challenge makes you stronger. The first few conversations may feel difficult, but with each attempt, your confidence will grow. Here's a final hook to keep in your mind. English is not something you study. It's something you live. The moment you bring English into your daily life, everything changes. Learning becomes natural, progress becomes faster, and confidence becomes real. Don't fear mistakes, because the moment you become afraid of making mistakes is the moment you stop growing. Let me ask you something honestly. What is the worst thing that can happen if you make a mistake while speaking English? Will the world stop? Will people remember it forever? Or will it simply pass in a few seconds while you learn something valuable? The truth is simple, yet powerful. Mistakes are not your enemy. Silence is. And every time you choose silence over speaking, you delay your progress. Here's a strong hook you need to remember. If you're not making mistakes, you're not learning fast enough. This might sound surprising, but it's true. Mistakes are proof that you are trying, experimenting, and stepping outside your comfort zone. Think about it. When you first learned to ride a bicycle, did you get it right on the first attempt? Of course not. You probably fell, lost balance, and struggled. But each mistake taught you something. Language learning works exactly the same way. Most learners are trapped in what I call the perfection trap. They want to speak only when their grammar is perfect, their pronunciation is flawless, and their sentences are complete. But here's the problem. Perfection is a moving target. You will never feel completely ready. And while you wait for perfection, time keeps passing. Opportunities slip away. Confidence decreases. That's why the smartest learners focus on progress, not perfection. Let me give you a powerful shift in mindset. Start seeing mistakes as feedback, not failure. Every mistake shows you exactly what needs improvement. If you say something incorrectly and someone corrects you, that is not embarrassment. It is a free lesson. And the best part is, lessons learned through mistakes are remembered longer than anything you memorize, because they are connected to real experience, real emotion, and real effort. Here's another hook that can change everything. People are not judging you as much as you think. Most people are too busy thinking about themselves to focus on your mistakes. And even if someone notices, they are more likely to respect your effort than criticize it. Imagine meeting someone who is trying to speak your language. Would you laugh at them, or would you appreciate their effort? The same applies to you. Effort creates respect. Now let's talk about confidence, because this is where everything connects. Many learners believe confidence comes first, and then speaking follows. But in reality, it works the opposite way. Confidence is built through action. Every time you speak, even with mistakes, you are training your mind to become stronger. You are proving to yourself that you can do it. And slowly, that fear starts to disappear. Here's a simple but powerful exercise. Give yourself permission to make mistakes. Yes, consciously decide that it's okay to be imperfect. When you remove the pressure of being perfect, speaking becomes easier. Your mind becomes more relaxed. Your thoughts flow more naturally, and your communication improves. Because fear blocks expression, but confidence unlocks it. Another important truth. Fluency is not about speaking without mistakes. It's about speaking without fear. Even advanced speakers make mistakes sometimes. The difference is they don't stop. They continue speaking, correct themselves if needed, and move forward. That's the level you want to reach. Not perfection, but freedom. Let's make this even more practical. The next time you speak English and make a mistake, don't stop immediately. Continue your sentence. Finish your thought. Then, if possible, correct yourself calmly. This builds both fluency and confidence. It trains your brain to focus on communication instead of fear. Over time, you will notice that mistakes become smaller and less frequent. Here's a powerful perspective. Every mistake you make today is one less mistake you will make tomorrow. That means mistakes are not setting you back, they are moving you forward. So instead of avoiding them, start collecting them. The more mistakes you make, the faster you improve. It's a simple equation, but it works. Many learners also compare themselves to others, which increases fear. You see someone speaking better and think, I'm not good enough. But here's the truth. You are not competing with anyone else. Your only competition is your previous self. Focus on improving a little every day. Speak a little better than yesterday. That's real progress. Now imagine this. What would happen if you stopped fearing mistakes completely? You would speak more. You would try new words. You would express your ideas freely. And that is exactly how fluency is built. Not by being perfect, but by being fearless. Here's a final hook to keep in your mind. Your mistakes are not signs of weakness. They are signs of courage. Every time you speak despite fear, you are winning. Every time you try again, you are improving. And every time you refuse to stay silent, you are moving closer to fluency. Stay consistent, stay strong, because consistency is the real secret behind every successful English learner. Let me ask you something that might completely change your approach. What matters more? Studying English for 5 hours in one day, or practicing for just 15 minutes every single day? Most people choose intensity, but the real winners choose consistency, because language learning is not a one-time effort. It's a daily habit. Here's a powerful hook you need to remember. Small daily actions create massive long-term results. It may not feel exciting at first. Practicing a few minutes every day might seem too simple, even too slow. But this is where most people underestimate the process. They look for quick results, instant fluency, and fast transformation. And when they don't see immediate progress, they lose motivation and quit. But the truth is, real growth is quiet. It happens slowly, steadily, and consistently. Think about this. If you improve just 1% every day, where will you be in 30 days? In 60 days? In 90 days? The progress may seem invisible in the beginning, but over time, it becomes powerful. Your vocabulary expands, your confidence grows, and your fluency develops naturally. This is the compound effect of consistency, and once it starts working, it becomes unstoppable. Now let's address a common mistake many learners depend on: motivation to study English. They wait until they feel inspired, energetic, or excited. But here's the problem. Motivation is temporary. Some days you feel like practicing, and some days you don't. If your learning depends on mood, your progress will always be unstable. That's why discipline is more important than motivation. Discipline means showing up even when you don't feel like it. Even on your busiest day, even on your worst day, you still give a few minutes to your English. Here's another hook that can transform your mindset. Consistency beats talent. You don't need to be naturally gifted in languages. You don't need a perfect accent or advanced vocabulary. What you need is regular practice. A person who practices 15 minutes daily will always outperform someone who studies for hours but only once a week, because regular exposure keeps your brain active and engaged. Let's make this practical. Set a simple daily routine. It doesn't have to be complicated. For example, spend 5 minutes speaking, 5 minutes listening, and 5 minutes reviewing. That's it. Just 15 minutes. The key is not how much you do, but how regularly you do it. When you follow this routine every day, it becomes a habit. And once something becomes a habit, it requires less effort and more consistency. Here's something important to understand. Your brain learns through repetition and exposure. When you practice daily, your brain stays connected to the language. Words remain fresh, sentences become familiar, and your thinking improves. But when you take long breaks, your brain disconnects. You forget what you learned, and you have to start again. That's why irregular practice slows you down, while consistent practice speeds you up. Now imagine this scenario. You practice English every day, even for a short time. After a week, you feel slightly more comfortable. After a month, you notice improvement. After a few months, others start noticing your progress. This is how confidence is built, not in one day, but over time. And the best part is, once you see progress, your motivation increases naturally. Here's a strong hook. Don't break the chain. This means once you start your daily practice, don't skip a day. Even if you are busy, tired, or not in the mood, do something small. Speak a few sentences, listen to a short audio, or review a few words. The goal is to keep the habit alive, because once you break the chain, it becomes easier to skip again. But when you maintain the chain, it builds momentum. Another powerful strategy is to make your practice enjoyable. If you enjoy what you're doing, you are more likely to stay consistent. Watch videos you like, listen to interesting podcasts, or talk about topics you enjoy. Learning should not feel like a burden. The more fun it is, the easier it becomes to continue. Let's talk about patience, because consistency requires it. Many learners quit because they don't see quick results. But here's the truth. Language learning is a journey, not a race. You are building a skill that will stay with you for life. So instead of rushing, focus on steady improvement. Trust the process. Keep showing up every day and the results will come. Here's a mindset shift. Focus on the process, not the outcome. Don't think, I want to become fluent quickly. Instead, think, I will practice today. When you focus on daily action, the results take care of themselves. This reduces pressure and makes learning more manageable. Now consider this. What if you stay consistent for the next 90 days? Just 15-20 minutes every day. No excuses, no breaks. Do you think your English will remain the same? Absolutely not. It will improve, and it will surprise you. Because consistency has a way of transforming effort into results. Here's a final hook to carry with you. Success in English is not about doing something big once. It's about doing something small every day.